Around the World in 80 Days, Part 1. Practice English with a summarized audiobook by Jules Verne with clear narration and subtitles. Let's begin! Phileas Fogg lived in London at number 7 Savile Row. He was a gentleman of wealth, but he was most famous for his exact and orderly habits. His life was controlled by the clock. Every action, from his morning tea to his evening walk, followed a precise schedule. It was said that even his footsteps on the pavement were measured and regular. Although rich, Mr. Fogg lived simply. His house was elegant, but without luxury or unnecessary decoration. There were no family portraits, no personal souvenirs, no memories on the walls. Everything was clean, silent, and efficient. The servants whispered that their master's heart was as calm and cold as his watch. Mr. Fogg spent most of his time at the Reform Club. There, he played whist with the same concentration that he applied to every detail of life. He read the newspapers, studied international news, and rarely expressed emotion. His companions admired his punctuality and discretion, but few claimed to know him well. On the other side of London, a man of a very different character was searching for work. Jean Passepartout, a Frenchman about 30 years old, had lived many lives already. He had been a circus performer, an acrobat, a singer, and even a fireman in Paris. But the constant adventures had tired him. Now he wanted peace, stability, and a calm routine. "I want a master who lives like a clock," Passepartout told himself, "and they say Mr. Fogg is the calmest, most precise man in London. Perfect!" So he applied for the position of servant in the Savile Row. Mr. Fogg received him briefly. The interview was short and direct, like everything Fogg did. "Your name?" asked Fogg. "Jean Passepartout, sir," answered the Frenchman. "Very well," said Fogg. "You are hired." Passepartout left the room satisfied, believing his adventurous days were behind him. But destiny had other plans. That same evening at the Reform Club, Mr. Fogg played cards, as usual. Around the table, gentlemen discussed the latest news. The subject was a new railway in India connecting Bombay to Calcutta. One member said, "With this railway, the world is smaller than ever. Perhaps it could be crossed in less than 100 days. Another replied, "Impossible! There are storms at sea, accidents on rails, and countless delays." "But gentlemen," said a third voice, "with steamships and railroads, great distances are nothing today." Mr. Fogg listened silently. Finally, he spoke. "Gentlemen, the world can be crossed in 80 days. The room fell silent. Then came laughter. "80 days! Nonsense!" cried one of the men. Mr. Fogg remained calm. He opened a map and explained. London to Suez, 7 days. Suez to Bombay, 13 days. Bombay to Calcutta, 3 days. Calcutta to Hong Kong, 13 days. Hong Kong to Yokohama, 6 days. Yokohama to San Francisco, 22 days. San Francisco to New York, 7 days. New York to London, 9 days. In total, exactly 80 days. The gentleman argued, but Fogg insisted. Then, in his steady voice, he said, "I bet £20,000 that I can do it." The wager was accepted. The journey would begin that very night. Returning home, Mr. Fogg called Passepartout. He said, "Pack a small bag, 2 shirts, 3 pairs of socks, and the travel money. We leave for Dover at 8:45. Passepartout was shocked. "Leave tonight? But, sir—" "No excuses," interrupted Fogg. "We are going around the world." Passepartout obeyed, though his head was spinning. At exactly 8:45 p.m., Fogg and Passepartout left London. They took the train to Dover, crossed the Channel to Calais, and continued their journey. Passepartout could not believe it. Only a few hours earlier, he thought his life would be quiet. Now he was rushing into an adventure that would change everything. The next morning, Mr. Fogg's absence from the Reform Club created surprise. The news of the wager spread quickly across London. Some admired his courage, others thought he was mad. The newspapers wrote, "Phileas Fogg has undertaken an impossible challenge." But Fogg himself remained calm, as if he were simply following another part of his routine. The first destination was Suez, in Egypt. The journey across France was smooth. Passepartout looked out the window, amazed at the speed of the train. When they reached Paris, he wanted to stop and see the city, but Mr. Fogg said quietly, "We have no time." The servant sighed, realizing that every moment of the next 80 days would be controlled by the clock. The ship from Brindisi carried them across the Mediterranean. The sea was calm, and Fogg spent most of his time reading newspapers on deck. Passepartout, however, enjoyed the sun, the breeze, and the conversation of the other travelers. He began to feel that, perhaps, the journey would not be so terrible after all. At last, they arrived in Suez. It was a new world for Passepartout. He looked at the crowded harbor, the markets full of color, the people of many nations walking in the streets. For the first time, he realized that this adventure would not only test his master's calculations, but also change his own life forever. Among the crowd was a man watching carefully. His name was Detective Fix, an agent of Scotland Yard. He was stationed in Suez to observe the arrival of travelers from Europe. That very morning, news had come about a great robbery at the Bank of England. The thief had escaped with £55,000. The suspect was said to be a man who looked like a gentleman, calm and well-dressed. When Fix saw Mr. Fogg, his interest grew. Such composure, such precision, Fix thought. Could this be the man the police are looking for? He approached him politely. "Excuse me, sir, are you Mr. Phileas Fogg of London?" "Yes," answered Fogg briefly. "You must present your passport to be stamped," said Fix. Passepartout handed the documents and Fix examined them with great attention. The servant did not notice the suspicion in Fix's eyes, but the detective was already making plans. He said to himself, "I will send a message to London. If this is the bank robber, I must stop him before he escapes too far." Later, Fix tried to make conversation with Passepartout. "So, where are you and your master traveling?" he asked casually. Passepartout, who was friendly by nature, replied without caution. "We are going around the world in 80 days. Imagine that." Fix raised his eyebrows. "Around the world in 80 days? That sounds unusual." "Yes," said Passepartout proudly, "but Mr. Fogg never jokes. He will do it." Fix smiled politely, but inside he was convinced. No honest man decides to circle the globe like this. It must be a trick to escape justice. From that moment, Fix decided to follow Mr. Fogg closely. While Fogg calmly prepared to continue his journey to Bombay, the detective was already sending telegrams to London asking for a warrant of arrest. The race around the world had now gained another player. Not only time, but also the law was chasing Mr. Fogg. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, give your like, and turn on the notification bell to follow the next parts.